So it was this back and forth and going on in the black manosphere, and people were talking about game and self-improvement, and I wanted to drop this video because it was on my mind for a long time, but it just popped up when Obsidian started talking about it again, and how Kevin Samuels and C Boogie and Brian Wells and all these people who talking about their game and the Dom game and all this other stuff that they say this stuff is. I kind of figured it out now what game really is. It's a gimmick. Game is a fucking gimmick. It's a gimmick to make them look better than they are, to attract more people who want to be just like them based off their stories. Because it's like when they talk about the things that they talk about, they leave a lot of things out, right? And the reason why I said game is a gimmick, because it's why these guys never answer certain questions. So if you go to somebody who says they got game, why don't you ask them, how long did it take them to get in a woman? In how long did it take for them to have sex with a woman? How many hours? How long it took them? Okay, that's one question for them. This is why. So I know that this is a gimmick. It's to attract attention. It's to make them seem like they're better than they are. And it's kind of them selling books and selling views and making people think that they're more better than they are. It's a sideshow for them. And just the same thing as all these other guys talking about they have game and stuff too. Because every time I see these guys and every time I hear these guys' stories, they always going after somebody else's girl. If you have so much game, you don't even have to go after other people's girls. See, I can tell this shit is all a gimmick, because this whole self-improvement shit is bullshit. It's just them trying to shut you up and trying to eliminate certain guys from the black manosphere, and it's trying to make them shut up and say, do what I say, because one day, you can be like me if I tell you to self-improve, right? These guys are the same men who sleep with people's girlfriends and wives. But one thing they don't tell you about the dark side of what they did to these people, they don't tell you the end result of what happened. They don't tell you that maybe the guy found out and maybe he killed the girlfriend or the wife and now doing time because of this so-called master game man, the guy who can know everything about women. Roger Allen Curry, he's one of the most moralist men I met on here in this game side shit. He tells a lot of stories about him sleeping with his friends, girlfriends, people's wives, but he never tells you the end result of what happened after that. So he's getting women, he's getting women probably into the ground, and he probably have a lot of men. He probably contribute to a lot of women being gone, dead. And he probably contribute to a lot of men committing suicide. But these are the same men who tell you to self-improve. These are the same men who say they got game, right? This is why I say it's like damn gimmick. Because if you have so much game, no matter no matter how much this female, if she's married or she's married or she's the girlfriend of somebody, you can always find someone else that's better because you have game, right? You have game, but you're sleeping with other people's wives and girlfriends because these guys get off and get high from the fact that they can do that to weaker men. This is why I said it's just for attention, because it don't make no sense that you're going to go after women of men you absolutely know, and you don't know that they probably took that path of fucking self-improvement. So it took them years to self-improve, and you just gonna come along and take their girl or sleep with their wife, but then go online and say, hey, self-improve. So you want the cycle to keep going so you can get high off that shit. Cause you go after weaker men. I never hear these guys ever tell a story about them sleeping with somebody's dangerous wife. I never hear them say that, yo, this guy was in Miami and he was the wife of a cartel and I slept with his wife. I was scared, but I slept with his wife. Why you never hear a story like that? Oh, these guys fear something. But they always talk about how dangerous they are or how much they dime women. But if you had that so-called dime game or whatever you want to call it, you get a high off of going after guys who you told to self-improve and going after their girlfriends and saying, hey man, it is what it is. So you pretty much given a green light to take advantage of dudes that you just told to self-improve. So now you are a messiah, but you also an antagonist in that man's life. So you playing two roles at the same time. A fucking gimmick, man. You getting views, you get some money, and you get some kind of attention from it. But then on the other side, you get high from the fact that you can take this guy's girl because, hey, I'm the dumb game, man. I'm a jawline guy. I know how to make women wet, man. So you contribute to the suicides and the murders and the suicide murders because you sleeping with people's wives and girlfriends. But I never hear these guys go into dangerous territory. They never do. They never have. The only way you can test your game, even in life, the only way if you was a football player or a basketball player, the only way you can ever test your skill in the highest caliber of that particular sport is playing in a league. You can't play street football and street basketball, park basketball and say you the best. You got to go in the NFL and the NBA and play in a league around other people. And the same people like a Kevin Samuels who say, well, you scared to compete. Ask a Kevin Samuels, did you ever go to a concert, a Chris Brown concert, and try to poach the women in there? Did you ever go know where an actor is at in an event and try to talk to the women there? Who's scared to compete? Did you ever go to a place where they don't like no black men, they don't speak no English, and you try to game these women? And that's one thing too that I want to talk about too with that shit too. None of these so-called players know multiple languages. All of these so-called players and master guys who know women all up and down, they only good in America and only good in other countries of women who speak English and who have an American American mindset. But they can't go into certain parts of certain countries because they don't speak the language. I'm always wondering why these guys talk about self-improvement when none of them excel what they are now, because they think they're in the king. They play this position, this gimmick of they the king of the guys that are below them. So they want to sit back and keep talking about and they keep on telling you that they this, they that, they this, they that, they got this, they that. But they don't have a rival. None of these people have any rivals. They can never tell you about a rival who take their girl and slept with their girl, or who can take their girl and sleep with their girl. It's always them being the winner. It's always them never losing. Because they got something to sell. They got something to tell you about. They got people that they have to talk down to. Because yeah, they can probably get women and whatever. They can probably do that. But they never test themselves. They always sitting there telling you what to do, because guess what? It puts money in their pockets. It makes them look good in front of people. And it attracts more girls to them for them to tell the fairy tales to everybody. Because one of the things that I learned about the whole game shit is the fact is you have to do unnecessary shit that you don't want to do. Ask them how long a conversation went with any woman they talked to before they had sex with them. Ask them how long a conversation usually go with a woman. Ask them how much they ever got from a woman, and how much they gave to a woman. These questions are very important, right? These questions will show that if they have so much game, they wouldn't have to have a long list of conversation. The conversations would be shorter. They would get the sex that they want, and they wouldn't even have to talk to this girl until the next day. Because if you have so much charisma and so much game, you don't have to talk that much. You talk a little bit of stuff, and you can just get it over with and go move to the next. You can use women for every category. But these guys, they don't ever have a story about them taking a female from a mob boss, from a cartel boss, from a drug kingpin, from a dangerous military man, some general, some CEO. You know, they don't have that. They don't have those kind of stories. And then if they did get some kind of CEO, but they don't have a story about a movie star, they never try to sleep with no movie star's wife, or no actor, or no rock star's wife. Oh, they never try, or even for them to I'll low tier them. They never try to go take a porn star's girlfriend or wife from them. They never tried that. So all that game bullshit is just a fucking gimmick. It's a gimmick. It's something that none of this shit makes sense, because they don't know the men that work their ass off just to get this one girl, because a person like them told them to so fucking improve. And then when they did do it, a dude like them took their girl from them. And the guy looked at his life and said, I had to work my ass off because some guy that I paid money, a life coach, I had to work in the gym. I had to do all this just to be qualified for a date for a female and waste money. And finally, I got this female, and she cheated on me with the same particular guy who said, hey, self-improve. So I don't want to live on earth anymore. Now this dude just contribute to somebody's a male suicide. Or the guy does some unfortunate thing and kills the woman, and then goes to jail for life. He just contributes to the statistic of domestic abuse. See? I'm breaking this shit down for everybody. For you to look out for these dudes. Ask them questions. If they don't tell you, they trying to game you. They trying to dime you. They trying to use you. Cause that game shit only works with weaker females. It don't work on all of them. But that's the simple fact they don't tell you. I'm looking out for people, because there's a lot of lost ass people out here who think that following these cats is the right thing to do, and to follow the path that these dudes are doing. Because 9 times out of 10, these guys, these more and more men are getting kind of more and more softer, so they become more and more like women. A lot of guys don't take that sitting down, that they had to do all this work. They're not going to let you get away with it, and they're not going to let that female get away with it. So you're going to contribute to somebody's suicide, somebody's homicide, somebody's in prison, because you wanted to be just like a Roger Allen Curry, or a C Boogie, or a Kevin Samuels. without asking them the hard questions about what they are behind this, what they really are. You telling somebody to self-improve and to compete, but you never competed with everybody else. You never competed with a billionaire. You never try to go to certain positions in certain kind of town halls. You never try to go against certain hierarchy positions. But you telling men they can't compete. Ask Kevin Samuels that shit. Ask him that. Ask Roger and Alan Kirby about the women he cheated on. Are they still alive? Are the husbands are still alive? Or is they in jail right now? I bet you he can't even tell you. He can't tell you because he don't care. I'm looking out for folks. Think for yourself. And if you do listen to these guys, don't take it all in. At all. If you want to listen to them, don't take all of it in. Chop part of it off, grab it, bounce. Same thing if when I listen to somebody who is racist, I take certain things from them and I bounce from them. This is what you need to do with these dudes. You don't want to be a full, complete version of what these dudes really are. And watch how they talk to other people who they think is below them. That tells you a lot about them. Once you start giving them questions, see if they ain't gonna block you off their page. Once you start questioning their real game and why, if they got so much game, it doesn't matter if they poor or not. Why are you trying to sleep with uglier women? Because you can't get none. But you said the game is foolproof, right? You a jawline nigga, right? You all this shit. But you bragging about sleeping with fat women because you couldn't get the women you want. But you say nobody wants to compete. You sleep with dudes' wives. You taking females out of there. How many of these dudes actually gave? How many of these dudes actually helped a friend or family member get a female that they liked, or gave them a secondary female that they liked? That tells you a lot about these guys.